Alright, so I'm going to be doing a review of a comic that is one I recently got myself. This isn't from the any of the hauls Chris sent me. But yeah, we're going to be talking about All Eight Eyes. All Eight Eyes, I was curious about it because it sounded like a really neat idea for a comic. It's basically it's basically a spider apocalypse. And, you know, the arachnophobic that I am, I was like, well, let's just see where this goes. This is written by Steve Fox, who has been starting to work at Marvel. He had done a lot of children's books, which is funny because there's so much swearing in this fucking book. And I was very curious about this. I was like a Dark Horse comic where we have giant spiders in a post 9/11 world, post 9/11 New York. Anyway, so let's talk about this comic. So the story is, like I said, set in 2005, about 2 years after. Set 2 years after 9/11. People are still like reeling from the terrorist attacks, and this kid named Ven, who is like this down on his luck kid, he's lost his job, he's borderline homeless at this point. And one night in Central Park, he encounters an old man who he thinks is killing someone, but he's not killing a guy, he's killing a giant spider. So Ven and this guy named Reynolds, along with their bull terrier named Possum, who's the goodest of boys, set out throughout New York to hunt down and destroy these giant spiders that are stalking the New York homeless. Now, the first thing is, you're probably like, well, where do these giant spiders come from? Like, why are there giant spiders in New York? The thing of it is, the comic doesn't give you an explanation. And I kind of like it for that, of like, why there are giant spiders. It doesn't. Even the comic says it best. When you see these giant spiders, you don't think about the why. You think about how to stop them. It's very much like how the shark in Jaws. You don't know why the shark's here or why it suddenly picked this place. There's food here. That's all it wants. And now you're just thinking about how to stop the shark. And I feel like a lot of monster movies do follow that, where it's like, well, how did they get here? And they have to have like some half-assed one, where this one's just like, it doesn't matter. Like, we don't know. We're not fucking, like, it's a homeless guy and a borderline homeless kid. They're not gonna solve answer. They're not exactly gonna have the answers. And they kind of allude to that the giant spiders have been here since mankind. And the thing of it is that, like, I do like the idea, because spiders are, like, the idea of spiders, and I remember reading somewhere that, like, if spiders were the size of cats, they would make the human race extinct. And how good of a predator a spider is, yeah, you wouldn't see it coming, so, yeah. But the main crux of this comic is not so much the giant spiders, it's more of talking about, you know, there's, like, why don't they just go to the police? Well, people won't mentally accept the idea of, like, there are giant spiders. Like, people would prefer not to think about it. It's actually, like, kind of, this comic really is more about, you know, talking about problems and ignoring them in the world. Like the homeless situation. We see it every day, and we do nothing about it. It talks about, like, how we bury our heads in the sand when we tell ourselves everything's all right, when clearly things aren't all right. It's like it's like the embodiment. This comic literally looks at the "this is fine" dog meme and goes, "No, everything's not fine. You need to do something about it." I do like that message, and conveying it with giant spiders. The one thing that, like, you wouldn't really mentally accept, even when people are, like, giving you the evidence to your face, people will not accept it. Like, people will just not accept. There are just some people out there who just will not accept the truth no matter what. And it's not like in a conspiracy theory way either. It's not like some grand conspiracy or like, oh, you know, you shouldn't trust masks or something, you know, or COVID isn't real. It's not saying that at all. It's saying, like, there are big problems in this world, and it would be sure nice if you helped out. The artwork by Piotr Kowalski, oh, I hope I got that right, is really good. I really like the dark shadows and how he uses muted colors. Like, this is a perfect example right here. Like, check that shit out. there are some legitimately, like, disturbing scenes with spiders just being like, just imagine, like, a spider in the corner of your house, and just kind of, like, you look up and it sees you. Like, how he draws spiders, and it's not just, like, one species, it's multiple different species of spiders, and they basically are, like, how they picture them, like, how they are drawn. It's very much like, imagine, like, your common house spider, and then you just imagine 100 times bigger. Like, there are points in this comic, again, as an arachnophobic, where I'm like, ugh, I don't like how that looked. There's just a image, perfect example. There's just an image of a spider at the bottom of this staircase, and you don't see a lot, you just see the eyes and some of the legs. Does that shit just not look at, like, does that shit look at just the worst, right? There's also a cover in here that's just, like, an alternate cover they did that I just absolutely just cannot look at without going, ugh. Let's see. Oh, there it is. You can't see it, but, like, it's a picture of, like, this big-ass wolf spider just barely in the shadows on the ceiling, like, looking at you. And I'm like, I hate that. I hate all of that. All in all, it's, one thing I give Steve Foxe is that even though this is, like, 4 issues long, it tells a pretty cohesive story. And I don't know if they'll do, like, another volume. This does say volume 1, but there hasn't been, like, talk of another volume as far as I know, so maybe they're already working on it or not. But yeah, I highly recommend All 8 Eyes. If you're looking for a cool creature feature with some social commentary that really kind of sticks the landing, I would give All 8 Eyes a definite look. It's definitely worth your time, especially if you want, like, it's just Walking Dead. It's almost like The Walking Dead with giant spiders. That's the difference. And there's a cute dog there, too. It's nice. Anyway, so if you've read All 8 Eyes, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.